Now at 6, authorities in Labette County filed multiple charges against a man in connection with a weekend homicide. Plus, the lengths a local elementary school goes to make sure their students have a place to play, and how the story of a simple bench is intended to inform friendships.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Labette County now have a suspect in custody in connection with the homicide of a woman over the weekend. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. 53-year-old Derek Curry of Parsons is charged with second-degree murder and interference with the judicial process to conceal or destroy evidence of a crime. Authorities say he killed 28-year-old Kylie Caldwell of Parsons on Sunday. They also say Curry and Caldwell were acquaintances. Caldwell's body was found Sunday afternoon in a field near the intersection of 20,000 Road and Ness Road in rural Labette County. The KBI was called in to assist and found evidence that she had been murdered. The Joplin Police Department responded to reports of a man with a walker on I-44 late last night. When authorities arrived, they say 56-year-old Andrew Garrett of Joplin was struck by a semi-truck. Garrett died at the scene. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today. Another nice day. The evening is turning out pretty good as well. 81 in Stockton, Anderson 85, Miami sitting at 88, Chanute 87. It's 90 in Independence. So it's definitely warm. We did get a few random little showers kind of skirting through our northeastern counties, but most of us are dry. Most of us will stay dry as we go through the evening hours as this little wave kind of rotates off toward the south and to the east. So if you want to get outside this evening, it looks good. Sliding back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into the mid 60s later on tonight. Now, the warmth or the heat, that is going to stick around. What about some rain chances? We'll look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Rise Elementary School in Neosho, Missouri found a creative strategy to overcome the lack of green space and playground area around their new school building. KOAM's Fernandez Silva has that story.
From the scenic park in Neosho, it is not hard to know when it is recess time at Rise Elementary. The sound of the school buses arriving comes first, followed by the kids' shouts of excitement. Divided by grade levels, the Rise students get to spend 30 minutes in the park. While this is a temporary strategy to overcome the lack of green space around their school building, the school's principal feels like their approach is working well.
It is beautiful. It is perfect for our needs. It has bathrooms. It has swings. It has just playground equipment.
Every day, about 230 Rise Elementary School students come to this park for their recess. Besides playing the playground, they also have a soccer and a kickball field to enjoy.
Kids love it. I've actually wondered and teased some of the teachers that they may not want to come to our own playground once we have it, because that park is so beautiful. It's shady, it's got lots of trees, it's a beautiful setting.
According to third grade teacher Alicia Durst, the recess is also a learning opportunity for students.
For one of our experiences, we were able to go to the park and look at different leaves and different trees, and they were thinking like a scientist.
Rise Elementary School is a STEAM school. That means that they focus on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Everything's still the same, focus is on reading, but they may be getting taught reading through science texts perhaps, instead of a different type of text. It might be with science.
To make sure students are safe on what feels like a daily field trip, the school set down guidelines with them.
Where they can and cannot go. We've talked about rules, safety, and procedures over the first 2 to 3 weeks of school.
When the 30 minutes are over, the whistle blows, and the students load the buses to go back to their school building. In Neosho, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Rise Elementary is working with the district to find a solution and get a green space near the school. It can be hard for some kids to make friends, but one first grader in Carthage wanted to make sure no one was left out. So Bo Whitehead suggested adding a buddy bench to the playground. It's where lonely students can sit, signaling to other students they need a friend. Bo says it'll make going to school more enjoyable for everyone. His dad was only too happy to help out.
He thought that that was a great idea. The class had talked about it, and so it was something that he thought would be really cool, something that they could have. And then they talked to Dr. Northup about it, and the more that he kind of talked about it, the more the wheels in my mind started turning, and I knew that we had a couple of these benches, so if it was something that we could make happen, we're always more than happy to be able to do that.
That bench was made at the Carthage Technical Center where Bo's dad works. More on the story at 10. Grant money flows into a Joplin nonprofit organization. The American Water Charitable Foundation and Missouri American Water today presented a check for $5,000 to Bright Futures Joplin. The money will allow Bright Futures Joplin to provide weekend food, clothing, and school supplies to Joplin students with difficult economic challenges.
Very far, especially when buying food for our snack packs and for helping us fill immediate student needs like clothing, coats, shoes. We rely entirely on our community support, so this is huge. State strategic impact grants are part of a AWCAF Keep Communities Flowing grant program. It's focused on 3 pillars of giving: water, people, and communities. A philanthropic group awards more than $18,000 to 23 nonprofit organizations in Crawford County. The Future Fund Giving Circle is comprised of community members from Crawford County who pool their resources to make a difference. Contributors' annual gifts of $250 to the Future Fund allow these grants to be distributed each year. Since its inception in 2006, the Future Fund Giving Circle has awarded more than $170,000 in grants. To see the full list of this year's recipients, you can check out our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, a first grade student is recovering after being hit by a stray arrow while on the playground at a Kansas elementary school. Plus, the Miami War Dogs look for a win on the softball diamond this afternoon. John is going to join us with more later in sports. Boy, a bizarre and unusual story. A Kansas first grade student is now recovering after she was struck by a stray arrow. Happened while she was on the playground yesterday. Sean Logan has the latest.
It's not the communication any parent expects to receive from their child's school.
It's such a bizarre thing to have to try to communicate. Kids were playing on the playground and got hit by an arrow.
It was around 9:45 Tuesday morning when kids at McPherson's Roosevelt Elementary were on the playground and a first grade girl was shot in the arm with an arrow. The district says that student was rushed to the nurse's office, emergency crews called, and all students moved into the building.
The absolute best news of this entire situation is that the young lady is going to be okay.
McPherson School Superintendent Dr. Shiloh Vincent says that arrow came from someone doing target practice half a block away. He says it was quickly determined there was no active threat to students and the school.
The individual who was responsible made contact with the authorities who were on scene and shared what he had done and what he had inadvertently caused, and took full responsibility for it.
McPherson police say 31-year-old Nehemiah Scott was arrested on suspicion of aggravated battery and aggravated child endangerment.
A count of aggravated child endangerment based on the number of children that were on the playground, which I was told was 7.
McPherson police say the city has rules against using air guns, bows and arrows, and BB guns inside city limits unless it's in an enclosed space.
For these specific reasons, so that someone doesn't get hurt.
Dr. Vincent says this is why adults need to be aware of what they're doing around schools that can endanger students.
Today was a prime example of how extremely quickly things can change, and why we just have to be very deliberate in how we're behaving and making sure that we're keeping all students at the forefront and making sure they're safe.
The school district's crisis team attended the school today to provide counseling to students. A little bit later, the Chiefs get ready for their Week 4 opponents. KOAM Sports Director John Dale is going to have a preview of that a bit later.
Plus, it's been warm over the past few days, and the warmth is going to be sticking around. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today. We did get a few random little tiny showers, and mainly in our northern counties, but everybody else looked pretty good. It looks good now. We have clear skies at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at these temps. Still Outside for us right now, it's 87 in Nowata, it's 87 in Chanute, still 90. Neodesha, Anderson 85, Stockton a hair cooler at 81. We can look at 7th and Rangeline sitting at 84. Visibility is good, southerly winds at about 10 miles per hour, but pretty much clear skies. All right, southerly winds, and then you have northerly winds in our northern counties. There's a weak little front. That's why we've had some clouds and a couple random showers. Besides that, we look okay. We're going to slip back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into the lower 60s, low to mid 60s for us later on tonight. Look at the tiny little showers kind of skirting by. Over the past couple hours, we still have a few just north of Springfield. Besides that, not much is going on. Right along this little front, that's where we are seeing a few showers, which is on the back side of this upper level low across the Great Lakes. If we look out toward the west, there's not a whole bunch of weather, and that is our weather as we go through the next several days. We're going to have a pretty calm stretch for about the next 7 days, and then things will start to change. All right, let me take you through time. We're going to stop tomorrow morning. 62 Lamar, 63 in Neosho, 63 in Miami, down to 62 in Parsons. By the noon hour, we're in the mid 80s. By the afternoon, most of us near 90. 90 in Stockton, 89 Bella Vista, Iola at 90, Welch at 91 degrees. Tomorrow night, pretty much clear skies, dropping back mid 60s once again. And then as we go into Friday, looking pretty good. High temps into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. So pretty much clear skies as we go through the next couple days. All right, day planner, 65 to start, 84 by noon. High temp of 89, plenty of sunshine. Let's jump to Friday night. We have Friday night high school football. It's going to be a little warm, but it's going to be clear. 81 by the time games kick off, dropping back to about 75 by the end of most of those games. The reason why we're warm, the reason why we're mainly dry, big dome of high pressure in charge, and he sticks around for the next several days. Here's Saturday, here's Sunday, Monday, then finally mid to late week starts to break down a bit. We get a wave that kicks out, gives us rain chances, and this is the beginning of our new pattern, the actual fresh start that is going to last for the next year. So it'll be real interesting to watch how the weather shapes up as we go through the next few weeks. 89 tomorrow, 89 on Friday, 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. So it stays pretty consistent, pretty warm all the way through the weekend. Cooling down late next week with some rain chances.
Might be a nice weekend, another one to get outside.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Thanks, Doug. State of Kansas plans to hold a series of public meetings for public water supply system lead and copper rule implementation. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment is going to hold these public meetings to help public water supply systems and their customers learn about the EPA's new lead and copper rule revisions. Public water supply system decision makers, operators, and the public are all encouraged to attend. The meetings are going to take place October 4th and 5th and December 5th. You can head over to kdhe.ks.gov for more information. Still ahead, Patrick Mahomes speaks about his connection with Travis Kelce ahead for the Chiefs' Week 4 game. That's coming up against the Jets. And Miami High School softball tries to punch its ticket to the regional finals. John Dales has those stories and more. It's coming up next.
Miami High School softball has had a very solid fall season up until now, leading to the Lady War Dogs hosting an OSSAA regional tournament today and tomorrow. Now, Miami received a first-round bye, meaning the winner of Dewey and Muldrow at noon would face the Lady War Dogs in the regional semifinals at 2 p.m. War Dogs at home, taking on Dewey, who did win that first game. Danae Green in the circle for Miami, locked in early. Gets back-to-back strikeouts here in the first inning, getting started. Game scoreless until the bottom of the second. That's when, with a runner on second, ball 4 gets away. And then Green forces a throw to second, and Carly Cook comes home safe from third. 1-0 War Dogs. Same score in the fifth. Hayden Pilkington skies one to left field. That drops down. She gets waved all the way home, but the relay throw perfect from Dewey out at the plate stays 1-0. Now top of the 6th, Green in a little bit of trouble. Tying run on 3rd, go-ahead run on 2nd. No matter. Gets the strikeout looking. She's fired up. It stays a 1-0 ball game. Same score, top 7, 2 out. Tana Sutton singles up the middle. Tying run now on base for Dewey. Next batter, Macy Smith. Goes the other way. That's the go-ahead run on once again. Mound visit. War Dogs just need one more out to move on to the regional finals. And a ground ball over to first base. That will do it. Danae Green goes the distance, shuts out the Lady Bulldoggers. Miami on to the regional finals tomorrow. After a Week 1 loss to Detroit, the Chiefs have righted the ship, getting wins the past couple of weeks, and also getting Travis Kelce back from injury. Heading into a Week 4 battle with the Jets in Meadowlands, Pat Mahomes is confident that his connection he has with his all-pro tight end.
I don't know why. I just kind of understand when he's going to do some stuff that he's not really supposed to do. There is times in practice where we were thinking about making a call for that, for when we get that look, for him to get him to run that route. And I remember with the coaches, I just said, I don't know why we need a call. He's going to do it anyways. And so, of course, he does it, and it's a touchdown. He has a good understanding of the whole entire concept. He understands the coverages. It takes a lot of reps, and I've just kind of developed that trust that whenever I'm seeing it one way, he's going to do it that way. Just kind of knowing him, and I think it just took a couple of years of just working with him and continue to do stuff. And we got a feel. Not only did I get a feel for how he runs routes, but you got a feel for how I was seeing stuff.
Over to pro baseball. Last night, the Cardinals kept the Brewers from clinching the NL Central on the field. They won that game 4-1. Milwaukee backed into that division championship, though, when the Cubs lost later that night. Cardinals and Brewers do it again tonight, just about 10-15 minutes from now. In Detroit, Royals taking on the Tigers as we speak. Just the top of the 3rd inning. Detroit designated hitter Miguel Cabrera finishing out his illustrious career before retiring this offseason. He hits a home run in the 2nd inning of this one to give the Tigers a 1-0 lead. Back to the Chiefs. Pretty funny to hear Mahomes talk about the way we can draw whatever up we want for Kelce, but he's going to kind of run the route that he wants regardless.
And even if they agree on a route, a lot of times things break down and they kind of ad-lib it, but they're in perfect sync. Those
two. Even with ad-libbing, it seems like they're better ad-libbing than on the scripted stuff.
Agreed. We'll be right back.
6 to 10 p.m. Play.
Preview coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on how that buddy bench came to be at Carthage Elementary School. Plus, Jesse James Days kicks off in Pineville, Missouri. We're going to check out the festivities. And a U.S. astronaut sets a record for length of time in space. Those stories and a lot more, of course, it's all coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, all you have to do is download the KOAM News app. It's really simple to do. You just do it right now. It's free of charge. You'll find it in the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for KOAM News app.
Or weather app.
We have both,
or sports
actually.
App, yeah.
All three. I stand corrected. You can do all three. Right now, you have about 32 seconds before this newscast ends.
There you go. All right, the warmth sticks around. I'm very bored, but most of you guys are very happy. But upper 80s all the way into early next week.
That's right. They'll find interesting things to see on the weather app and on the sports app.
Yeah. Miami softball onto the regional finals tomorrow afternoon. If they lose that first game, they still get another chance in the next one.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.